I was alone that night, completely alone. That isn't a feeling or an assumption. It's a fact I verified more than once. I locked the doors myself. I checked the rooms myself. I watched the car lights disappear down the street and waited until the house settled into that familiar, empty quiet. The kind you only notice when no one else is breathing with you. I didn't turn on music. I didn't turn on the TV. I wanted to hear the house the way it sounded when it belonged to only one person. That was my first mistake. Because when you're truly alone, you begin to recognize what doesn't belong. I was standing in the hallway, facing the single light left on at the far end. I know I left it off. I remember thinking the dark would help me sleep. But there it was. Soft, steady, like it had been waiting. I remember thinking, maybe I forgot. That thought lasted exactly as long as it took the floorboard behind me to settle under weight that wasn't mine. Not a step, not movement, just pressure. The kind that happens when someone stops walking. And in that moment, standing in my own house, with every door locked and no reason for anyone else to be there, I understood something I had never considered before. Being home alone doesn't mean no one is with you. Sometimes it only means you're the only one who should be. I was alone that night for a simple reason. A normal one. My family was out of town. The weather had turned ugly by late evening, and my shift the next morning started before sunrise. Staying home made sense. Everything about it did. I remember feeling relieved when the door closed behind me. That quiet click of the lock sliding into place. The sense that, for once, nothing was required of me. The house felt familiar in the way only your own place ever can. The kind of familiar you stop noticing. Same narrow hallway. Same soft dip in the carpet near the stairs. Same faint smell of detergent and old wood. I didn't turn on many lights. Just the lamp in the living room and the one down the hall near the bedrooms. I liked the way the rest of the house faded into shadow. It felt calm, contained. The clock on the wall ticked steadily, each second landing exactly where it should. Somewhere in the kitchen, the sink dripped. Slow, unhurried. Outside, the wind brushed against the windows, not hard enough to rattle them, just enough to remind me the world was still moving beyond the walls. I sat on the couch scrolling through my phone, half paying attention, feeling that mild, empty boredom that comes when there's nothing left to do and nowhere else to be. Being alone felt safe, predictable. I remember thinking how nice it was not to listen for anyone else. No footsteps, no voices, no doors opening that I didn't open myself. At some point, I noticed the door to the spare room was cracked open. That wasn't strange on its own. I used that room for storage. I rarely closed it all the way. I glanced at it, registered it, and moved on. It didn't feel important then. The house continued the way houses do. Tick, drip, wind. Time passed without shape, until I heard something that didn't belong. It came from upstairs. A single sound. Soft, brief, and heavy enough to be specific. Not a bang. Not a crash. A step. I didn't react right away. I remember staying perfectly still, listening to see if it would repeat. Nothing did. My first thought was exactly what yours would be. The house settling, old boards shifting, temperature change. I told myself that without effort. It felt reasonable. I even smiled at how easily my mind tried to explain it away. Still, I checked the clock. I don't know why. It felt like the kind of moment you mark without realizing you're doing it. The ticking sounded louder after that. I stayed where I was. Didn't call out. Didn't move. The house stayed quiet long enough for me to relax again. Then the sound came back. This time closer. Not louder. Just nearer. A floorboard easing under weight. I stood up slowly, more curious than afraid, and listened. No running water upstairs. No vents cycling on. No reason for that sound to exist. I told myself I would check in a minute. That I just wanted to hear it once more to be sure. Would you have gone to look? Or would you have stayed exactly where you were, hoping the house would return to normal on its own? I turned on another light, then another. The house didn't feel the same once the shadows pulled back. They stretched in places they hadn't before. Corners seemed deeper, longer. I locked the front door, even though it already was. Then the back. I checked the windows, one by one, convincing myself the act itself was enough to keep things in order. When I passed the hallway mirror, my reflection lagged just a fraction behind me. So little I almost dismissed it. Almost. The upstairs went quiet. Completely. No ticking reached that far. No wind. No drip. The silence pressed down, thick and deliberate, as if the house was listening now instead of speaking. And that was when I understood. This wasn't random. The house wasn't settling. It was responding. I stood there longer than I should have, in the middle of the hallway. Lights on, doors locked, listening. That was when I heard it breathe. At first, I thought it was me. The body does strange things when it senses danger before the mind catches up. I held my breath. The sound didn't stop. It came from the wall beside me. Soft, slow, deliberate, too close. The low hum started then. Not a noise I could point to, but a pressure I could feel in my chest. Like standing near a running engine you can't see. My heart fell into a rhythm that didn't feel like my own. Heavy, measured. I took one step back. The breathing matched it. Another step. Closer now. I remember noticing the smallest details. The way the light flickered without going out. The faint shadow at the base of the bedroom door ahead of me. A shadow that hadn't been there before. I whisper my own name without meaning to. Just to hear a human voice. Just to remind myself I was real. Something on the other side of the wall whispered it back. Not clearly, not loudly, but correctly. Every sound dropped away at once. No hum, no ticking, no breath. Silence so complete it felt wrong. The bedroom door in front of me clicked. Unlocked. I hadn't touched it. The handle turned slowly. Enough for the latch to slide free. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I stood there frozen, watching the door open on its own, inch by inch, waiting to see what had learned my name. Then my phone rang. The sound was violent in the quiet, too loud, too sudden. The door stopped moving. The shadow vanished. I answered without looking at the screen. Didn't speak. Morning light was already leaking through the windows when I finally realized the call had ended. I don't remember what was said. I don't remember if anyone spoke at all. The house felt normal again. Too normal. Every door was closed. Every lock in place. No shadows where they shouldn't be. I left as soon as the sun was fully up. Didn't check the spare room. Didn't go upstairs. I still live there, but I don't stay home alone anymore. And sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet in that careful way, I swear it's waiting to see if I'll forget why.